Hey, Lane. You've been working next to a couple of different offensive linemen throughout the year. Do you feel like you've gotten the timing right with Matt Pryor now that you guys? I know you guys are close, but now that you've practiced kind of the last couple of weeks together.
Yeah, it's getting better each time. I get to go out there and train with him in practice whenever I am practicing, and getting the feel for it in the game. Good thing about these guys, man, they're big, they're physical, they take up a lot of space. So, it's been really fun playing with the young guys.
John and then Rube.
Hey, Lane, obviously we talked about your ankle and coming off the surgery, and you thought it would progress the farther you get away. Is it still a struggle to keep that swelling down? And, what happened sort of in the first half against San Francisco, and how did you get it right to be able to play so well in the second half?
Yeah, I was still feeling it there in the first half and really became numb there in the second half. But turns out there was a cyst in there, and I ended up getting that drained Monday after the game. So it was about 6 cc's of fluid in my ankle, which is kind of sitting there and become inflamed. So it was just hard to push off of it, but got that drained. I practiced full today, so that was good, and starting to walk around with no pain. So it's getting better.
We'll go Rube and then Damo.
Hey, Lane, what have you seen from Driscoll the times he's gone in for you in a couple games?
Driscoll's been solid, man. Driscoll, he reminds me of, just a pure technician. Kind of reminds me of Matt Tobin as far as his technique, but really a guy that's got some size to him, a lot of physicality to him. I mean, everything he does at full speed. So practice, he gets in the games, and he's really impressed me, but, didn't really surprise me just watching him since he's got here. He works his tail off.
Damo and then Zach.
Lane, what's the biggest challenge for the young guys going up against a blitzing team like Pittsburgh?
I mean, you got the blitzes, and then you got the people in front of you. And I'd be more concerned with the people in front of you than the guys coming off the edge. So, you got Cam Hayward inside, you got Stephon Tuitt, got Bud Dupree, I got T.J. Watt. So, it's like telling people to worry about the hyenas when you got lions in front of you.
Zach and then EJ.
Hey, Lane, you said that the ankle swelled up on the ride to Washington. What was it like on the flight to San Francisco? And is this something on these road trips you're going to have to manage?
Yeah, I had to elevate it. I slept on the ground. I had my feet elevated. I was surprised I slept the whole flight, so that was good. The main thing was just I had that cyst in there with fluid. I got that removed, and that got a lot of pressure out of there, so it wasn't as in much pain. So feels better this week. I practiced fully today, which is something I haven't done in a while. So it's getting better slowly but surely, and keep trucking.
EJ and then Les.
Hey, Lane, what's it been like watching Stout bring guys along, guys like Jordan, Nate, Matt, what's that been like, especially, even since training camp, making those guys get ready on short notice?
Man, he's a relentless guy. So our meetings are really a kind of a war zone. You go in there, it doesn't matter if you're a starter, if you're a practice squad, he treats everybody the same. He expects everybody to know what they're doing. If you're playing guard or tackle, if you're playing different positions, he demands that. And if you are not up to speed, he'll let you know about it. So really, just with his sense of urgency, he's had these kinds of situations in the past. And really, just by the way he prepares everybody every day, when something like this does occur, it's not it doesn't get too out of hand. He stresses, being focused one play at a time, eliminating the distractions, and I think he's done a great job with the younger guys, that are coming in, trying to unclutter their heads and really get them playing good football, and they're getting better each week.
Les and then Marcus.
Hey, Lane, you had your own interaction with COVID a few months ago. All of a sudden in the league, this has become a much bigger topic with the Titans outbreak and so forth. And the dominoes keep sort of multiplying. At some point, they're probably going to affect the scheduling of your games. Certainly this week, you're playing a team that had time off that wasn't expecting to have. What do players think about this? Do they kind of wish other teams would be more careful, or do they resent the fact that they're being affected by this? What's your take?
I mean, it's a slippery slope. I mean, really, every day we come to work, and then, we see the headlines and we see all this stuff. It really is not really a whole lot we can't control, but, as far as our protocols we have here, we do our best we can. with stuff in the building, and then usually by the time we leave the building, it's pretty late, so we go to the house. But yeah, I mean, it's been a difficult year. I feel like the NFL has handled it pretty well so far. But when circumstances do come along like this, it's frustrating. I can see where it's frustrating for some teams like Tennessee. The Patriots. I just found out the Jets had to close down this morning, so it's really, it's an odd predicament, and really, as far as control, there's limited amount of that. But yeah, I mean, really, it's we're watching the news just like y'all are, and when stuff happens like this, it's you're kind of going, wow.
Does it piss you off that other teams aren't being perhaps as careful?
I mean, I think a lot of teams are doing their part. I think they're trying to follow protocols. It's just whenever staff and coaches start catching it too, which it's not just the players. It's it's kind of everybody involved.
Thank you.
We have time for a few more, so we'll go Marcus, Bo, and Bob.
On that note, Lane, I mean, like the Steelers are coming off essentially a bye week when they could have been playing Tennessee. You guys flew across country, then flew back. Now you have to go back to Pittsburgh, so it's a pretty onerous burden you have to bear against a team that's 3-0 coming off a bye week because Tennessee apparently didn't follow protocol. Should Tennessee have to pay a price? Should they face, greater fines, forfeitures, draft picks? Is it? What do you think about that?
That's up to Mr. Goodell on that one. I don't know if I'm qualified to make any decisions like that, but I mean, I guess when you saw in baseball, if people were breaking protocol, I feel like there are fines, and if you get caught, I guess, going out or socializing, whatever it is, not following the rules, and you should get fined. That's what, we've been told as a team. I'm sure other teams have been told. So I'm not sure if that's the case. Really with this virus, nobody really knows how people are getting it. But, when we're here, we have our trackers on us, and they try to follow the close contact as much as possible and try to get a read on it. But yeah, it's weird, man. It's really, every day you wake up something different on the news, and what can you do?
Go ahead, Bo.
Hey, Lane. What do you remember about your very first impressions of Jordan Mailata? And then do you think there is some sort of parallel with you and him in that, you were relatively new to the position and starting from scratch? I know obviously it's different. You played in college, but is there some kind of parallel there, you think?
The first time I saw Mailata was like in Happy Gilmore when he saw his boss, Mr. Larson. Good for Mr. Gill, Mom, or whenever Shooter McGavin saw him. You remember? That's what I thought when I saw Mailata. Just, he's 6'8", he's listed 346. I'm here to tell you it's more than that. So a guy that big and that strong, watching him early on, it's like a, newborn out there just trying to learn his legs and, his balance and body control. But now he's getting better each week. I was really impressed with him last week. He got thrown into the fire. Did a good job, and with him, the more he plays, the better he's going to get. But yeah, man, just there's not too many guys that big and can move the way he does. And yeah, and just coming, virtually no football at all, having to learn this sport, in the few years that he's been here has been very impressive. But the best part about Jordan is what kind of guy he is. He's a great guy to have on the team. He's a great guy to have in the locker room, a good person, and he cares a lot about his job and trying to do well.
Last one here with Bob.
Hey, Lane, you've gone up against some great pass rushers through the years, and there'll be another pretty good one there. What do you know about T.J. Watt, and what kind of a matchup do you think that'll be for you, and where does that kind of rank among the others?
Yeah, I mean, he's right up there. You talk about a guy that's constant production. He's had it. He, just relentless. He doesn't give up on plays, has a variety of moves, and really can beat you with a lot of things. So, when you face guys like this, you have to be on your A game. Communication has to be good with your guard. But, yeah, I mean, really their whole front's very good. They've always been very good. Cam Hayward creates a lot of pressure to it. We talk about T.J. Watt's a beast, and then you have Bud Dupree on the other side who's also very disruptive. So, really, this will be a big test for us. This is one of the better D-lines in the –
Hey, Miles, we talked to Mike Tomlin earlier, and he said he remembered watching you play at Heinz Field as a freshman in high school. I think you had almost 100 yards in that game. What do you remember from that game, and what's it like, going against the team you grew up rooting for this Sunday?
Freshman in high school, we lost that game. Yeah. But what I remember, that's all I can really remember. But It was fun. It was real fun. You know, you grow. I mean, being from Pittsburgh and a Steelers fan, you grow up wishing to be a Steeler or just play on Heinz Field because everybody knows the league that we have in Pittsburgh, the championship games on Heinz Field. So everybody can't wait to get on that field and play for that big trophy. But nah, it's definitely a memory that I'll never forget.
Daniel and then Jeff.
Hey, Miles, you've gone back to Heinz Field before, in college with Penn State. How's it feel to go back to Pittsburgh now as an NFL player, especially one who has, kind of established himself in his second year?
It's a blessing, honestly. I can't really put it into words because it's a lot. It's a lot of emotions, to be honest. I kind of talked to the team about it. I think last week I had to give a story and just saying like it's the way our city's set up. Like it's guys like me, young African Americans coming out of Pittsburgh. Like this stuff isn't guaranteed or promised to anybody. Like I know so many players that I play with. I know many friends that could be doing something successful or be in the same position as me, but they took the wrong route. So I'm just blessed and happy that I'm living my dream finally. And being from Pittsburgh and going back to the city and playing in my city, it means a lot to me.
Jeff and then Brian.
Miles, are you going to be able to have any family members or friends in attendance? I know it's only 5,000 or something like that. Fans are allowed to do 10, but is that something that you were able to kind of pull off?
Yeah, just my mom, a couple friends. That's all. I didn't want to get bothered with the tickets. Them tickets get expensive. It ain't like college. You don't get no free tickets.
Brian and John.
Miles, I saw you said on a clip of you saying this offseason that your number one goal in the NFL is actually to win the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. When did you decide that you want to do that? And what are some of the things that you're doing to sort of put yourself on track for that kind of?
It's been a goal since I got in the league, honestly. I see all the obviously a goal is the biggest goal is Super Bowl, obviously. But if you want to talk about personal goals, obviously I want to win MVP one day. Obviously Player of the Year one day. But one of my biggest goals that I'm reaching for is the Walter Payton Man of the Year. And right now I'm just trying to get with my team, and right now we're just trying to figure out what I can do. I haven't been doing anything yet, but just giving back to my high school and to the kids there. I just give away all type of stuff. What if it's gear, cleats? That's the only thing I've been doing right now. But we're also still brainstorming on what I could do as like deeper in the community, as far as in Pittsburgh and in Philly. So right now, just game planning, but hopefully one day or 1 year I can win that.
John and then Les.
Hey, Miles. We were talking to Doug this morning, and he was mentioning the Steelers and their blitz packages and how big a part communication is between everybody, the offensive line, the backs like you, the tight ends. How difficult does Pittsburgh make it from what you've seen on film?
I don't think Pittsburgh is the team itself makes it difficult. I mean, I think it's difficult, period, in this league to, pick up blitzes. Certain teams do the same stuff, and a lot of teams do a lot of different stuff, But like you said, it's all about communication, and we do a heck of a job communicating. We got Jason Kelsey as our center. He's our leader. And Carson does a great job of communicating too. We all just communicate back there before the plays hiked, and we do a good job throughout the week on how we can pick up a lot of blitzes too. So
we have time for a few more, so we'll go Les, Mike, and Rube.
Hey, Miles. You guys have been very, very lucky or very attentive to COVID concerns. Not so much the case at some places around the league, and you're seeing schedules change now, games postponed. What are players thinking and saying about that internally? How do you view it? It's got to be very frustrating to have some of these things sort of hanging. You think other teams are being irresponsible, maybe, in the way they're doing this?
I can only speak on what's going on here, and we're doing a pretty good job of, following protocols and nobody getting any positive tests. I can't speak. I'm not in any position to speak on any other teams. It's a difficult year for everybody. It's new for everybody, so pretty sure everybody was expecting this to happen. So I wouldn't say anybody's responsible. It's just it's a weird year. So I don't know. We're doing the best. I'm pretty sure everybody's doing the best they can, but this is just how our world is right now.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mike.
Miles, I know you grew up a Steelers fan. You obviously played at Heinz Field. Do you have a favorite memory as a fan or as a player at Heinz Field? And can you take us through it?
My favorite memory at Heinz Field is beating them Pitt Panthers 51-6 my junior year in college. That's my favorite memory of all time. So.
What about it, though? Like, do you have a certain moment from that game? Obviously.
Just the fact that all my boys was on the team, and they was talking so much smack the whole offseason. Then the game finally came. 51-6, that's all I got to say.
Go ahead, Rube.
Hey, Miles, you made it clear that you really want to carry the load this year and be out there all the time. Was it disappointing at all you weren't on the field for that last drive on Sunday in San Francisco?
No, not disappointed at all. It's part of the game plan. I'm like I told you guys before, I'm not a selfish player at all. So we have a lot of different players that can do a lot of different things. As far as our running back room especially, we got a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things, good things on the field too, even when I'm not on the field. We got Boston, we got Corey, AK, Elijah, and Jason. So whoever's in the game is going to get the job done. I wasn't upset or anything. I trust the coaches. They trust me. Whatever the plays calls, whoever they want in there, that's what's going to happen.
Hey, Cre'Von. How's it going, man?
How you doing?
Doing well. I have to ask you, you guys finally got some turnovers last week, and there was no ski mask on the sideline. Rodney said that's your job to bring it. What happened?
Man, honestly, I've been bringing it every week, and when we played the Cincinnati Bengals, after that game, it was left on the sideline after the game when we have to go, meet and greet the other team, good game, tap on the back and stuff like that. And by the time I was supposed to come back to the sideline, it was gone. So we got to get another one.
Mike and then Ed.
With that said, though, you got turnovers with it not being there. So is there a thought process to reworking maybe the ritual or doing something else?
I mean, can't go wrong with the ski mask, but being that it wasn't there and we did get turnovers, I mean, I don't see why we can't come up with something that can take the lead by notice and come up with our own theme again. But if the ski mask on the sideline, it's definitely gonna get put on though, for sure.
Go ahead, Ed.
Hey, Strap. Just to ask you about Jalen Mills and going back to the cornerback spot for him. How did that work out with him going back there? Did he miss a beat or anything like that, or was it just like riding a bike and played well?
I mean, like I told you guys last week, Coach Jim, he sees us all as X's, and wherever he want us to line up, that's where we got to play. And if your number is called upon, you got to go out and execute. And Jay number was called upon to play corner, and he did a phenomenal job for us.
We'll go to Marcus next.
Hey, Cre'Von. In light of what happened with the Tennessee Titans, and in light of what happened with the Patriots, does it underline how important it is to sort of adhere to the protocols with the COVID? Did it serve as a wake-up call? And do you think the Titans should have to pay some penalty? After all, you're playing a Steelers team coming off a bye as opposed to a Steelers team coming off a game with the Titans.
Mm-hmm. I mean, definitely the protocol here, we definitely have to follow by the rules and follow it. obviously this thing is serious. COVID-19 is no joke. And we have to abide by those rules. And whatever those rules are, we got to make sure we're putting our best foot forward in that. Washing your hands, wearing your masks around building, having your traces on, being 6 feet from somebody else, practicing social distancing and things like that. So is it serious? Absolutely. Just as far as the Titans go, I mean, they got bigger issues over there that they have to worry about. And, what my mindset is right now, my mindset on Pittsburgh, not really the Titans. So they got to figure that out. But it is what it is.
Go ahead, Rube.
Hey, Cray, you got, I think, 3 snaps in the Rams game, and you tweeted something, I think, that night or the next morning about just how it just kind of, you got to work harder, and I think you got 59 snaps and then 30-something last week. Obviously, there's injuries in the mix, but how do you deal with those ups and downs? I mean, I know it's got to be frustrating to work as hard as you do and then get 3 reps in a game. How do you deal with that stuff?
I mean, it doesn't matter if it's 3 reps, 5, 10, however many reps it is on game day. Throughout the week in practice, you still got to practice as if you're a starter out there or as if you're going to play. You never know when your number gets called upon, as you guys already know that from day one since I've been here in 2018. It's always been next man up mentality, and we're fighting some injuries right now. So with that being said, I'm always going to make my rep count.
We'll finish up here with one more. We'll go Ed. Oh, Ed, you're on mute.
Okay, I'm good now. Sorry about that. Hey, so just this Steeler receiver core looks pretty diverse with, they have the size with Claypool and speed with Johnson, and Smith-Schuster's consistent. I mean, what are the challenges to playing, this Steelers offense?
They definitely have a good group of receivers, guys who can run, guys who can create separation. They also have the tight end Ebron, and they have a phenomenal quarterback who can get them the ball down the field. So with that being said, man, we just gotta tighten up our chin straps and lace our sneakers up and be ready to play some ball and challenge these guys physically, mentally, as a defense, as an offense, and as special teams, and just try to win all 3 phases. And that's exactly what we're going to do.
Hey, John, that 4th and 4 in the fourth quarter, talk about that play and kind of run us through that, and how much can something like that do for your confidence, such a big play and a big moment in your guys' first win?
I had a slant and knew coming from the huddle that I had to win on the play, and definitely helps my confidence a lot.
Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, John. Obviously, you came in with Quez, and Quez hasn't been able to play on the field. I know earlier you said you guys struck up a relationship. How much is he chomping at the bit to kind of get on the field, and what have those conversations been like as he's kind of returned to practice?
Conversation's been the same. I still talk to Quez every day, and he's still working hard to get back.
We'll go with Martin next.
Hey, John. Both you and Travis kind of had really big games last week, despite, not getting a whole lot of work with Carson. You didn't have the OTAs, and, training camp was shortened and everything. What is your comfort level with him, after this week of practice? I assume you and Travis and the other guys have gotten most of the reps with Deshaun and Alshon being out.
Me and Carson got a good relationship. Timing been pretty good, and hopefully we'll see it on Sunday.
We'll go to Alan and John.
Hey, John, listen, last week you had a nice play and a big moment, but it's the NFL. There's always another game. Can you talk about what the coaches are talking to you about staying up and not looking back on that play and being ready for Carson for the offense this week in a huge game in Pittsburgh?
They still preach the same thing to me. Just take advantage of every opportunity I get.
Go ahead, John.
Hey, John. Just curious, you've had a lot of reps over the past couple games. Just as you judge your progression, nobody knows your game better than you. Do you see things slowing down a little bit for you with all those reps and all those extra opportunities?
The gameplay definitely has slowed down for me. I'm getting a grasp of everything, and just looking to get better.
Hey, Travis, can you talk about how important it is to, you had a great catch. It was helped win a game, but just how important it is to kind of do it consistently and just string together a bunch of good weeks now.
Absolutely. That's definitely the goal. Being consistent week in and week out, just being available for my team whenever they call my number, just be there to make the play and do your part.
We'll go Mike and then back to Dave if you're ready.
Travis, I just saw you tweet that you had your Twitter hacked after the game. What happened? How long did it take to get back on? What went on there?
It was probably like 12 hours after the game. I was on Twitter, and then I was watching TV, and then I looked back at my phone, and then I couldn't log back in. They changed my email, they changed my password, and then I had to email Twitter, do all that stuff. Luckily, I had help. And I just got my Twitter back literally 15 minutes ago. So, yeah, that was a crazy experience.
Is there an investigation into 49ers fans or what? Are there any leads?
I'm not sure, but, everyone's a suspect right now.
Dave and then Bo. Oh, Dave, we still can't hear you, so we'll go Bo and then Martin.
Travis, who's the most unexpected person you heard from this week after your game on Sunday?
Unexpected? I can't really pinpoint one, but it's been a lot of old numbers that aren't saved anymore. But I appreciate all the support and all the messages everyone sent me. So, yeah.
And you come from a diverse background. You've been a lot of places. Have you heard from people from sort of all those stops along the way?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Friends going way back. Instagram has been going crazy. Hope maybe my Twitter blew up a little bit. I'll checking it out in a while. But yeah, it's definitely nice hearing from a few old friends and whatnot.
Martin and then Les.
So Travis, what has this week been like for you? I mean, not only with all the social media and stuff, but the attention that you've been receiving, I'm sure it's been quite a bit.
Yeah, it's definitely different from my past experiences, but I love all the support from the Eagles fans. You can tell it's a great fan base. But yeah, from my standpoint, just keep my head down and just grind throughout the week and get ready for this next game.
Les and then Zach. Les, you might be muted. Les, you're muted.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, Bo asked what I was going to ask, so I'll think of something else real quickly. You're being able to sync up with Carson Wentz. You guys haven't had a lot of time or a lot of reps together. You're not old teammates or anything. How hard is that for you? Is it something that can be worked out in a few practices, a few weeks of practices, or is it just a process that can't be rushed?
Throughout practice, we're working together throughout the day. Whenever there's spare time, we'll get work before practice, during practice, after practice. It's not something that takes a while. Just whatever he says, I just have to go out there and do it, be at the right spot, and just do my part.
Thank you.
Zach and then Al.
Hey, Travis, as a kid growing up in a handful of different countries, how much football did you watch? And as a follow-up to that, are you still developing as a football player? Like, is the game still relatively new to you?
It's not relatively new, but I'm definitely still learning. There's definitely a lot of things I need to learn. Every year, I'm sure veterans still to this day are still learning something new. That's why the coaches are here. But back in the day, I really only watched Super Bowls or sadly, I used to watch the Patriots growing up. So, yeah, usually whenever they're on during the playoffs when I was here in the winter, I would watch their games, but not that much.
Go ahead, Al.
All right. Listen, you've had a lot of fun this week. You're talking about all the people who have contacted you, Eagles fans, the whole 9 yards. But Pittsburgh has a fierce pass rush. Are you mentally preparing yourself for how important it is for you, especially with a young offensive lineman, how important it is for you to get open, to make yourself available to Carson Wentz this week in order to have success?
Well, it's the same as any other week. Just do my job, get open, whatever the coach, whatever plays the coach calls. I'm sure it's the right call, and I'll just be in the right spot. And if the D line's coming, I'll be open for Carson to make a play.
Yeah, but it's a lot of distractions though this week, right?
No, not too many. We're all focused.
Okay. No, I meant for you because you're getting a lot of attention this week from your big game last week.
No, sir. Like I said, I didn't have my Twitter this week. Instagram, I've kind of shut that down. I've just been focused on this next game.
Okay.
Do we have any more questions for Travis? No? Oh, Mike, go ahead.
Hey, Travis, I know your mom has traveled to a lot of your games with the stadium kind of opening up for the Steelers. Was she able to get a ticket for this week?
Oh, yeah, she'll definitely be there.